Welcome back to The Good Pod, where we highlight the incredible people and organizations making a difference in our community. I'm your new host, Jackie, and today we're talking with someone who has been a big part of our village for years, one of our longtime volunteers, Brent. Brent has been serving with Goodness Village for quite some time and is also a longtime attendee of Crosswinds Church. We're going to chat about how he first got connected to us, why he continues to show up, and what advice he has for anyone thinking about getting involved. Brent, welcome to The Good Pod, and thank you for being my first guest.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So first, can you tell us how you came to know about Goodness Village?
So, as you mentioned, I have been attending Crosswinds Church for a while, and one of the sermons they did a whole big spiel on it, and I was like, wow, that is a great concept. It was based off of one, I think, in Texas, and they decided that they wanted to bring that to our campus here, like they always do. They're always trying to help everybody, which is great. And I just like the concept of enabling individuals to help themselves. And that really struck a chord with me, where I see a lot of organizations are just trying to throw resources and money at things and really not having the recipients have any skin in the game. This forces people to have skin in the game, and I think that just works better for them, and it's better for everybody.
Right. That was really nice, and it kind of allows them to take ownership over themselves. So it's nice that you mentioned you were kind of drawn to our mission when you first heard about us, but a lot of people hear about us and still don't take that next step to volunteer. So what made you want to take that extra step?
You know, since I've been going to church for a while here, I've always kind of tried to find something to get involved. I'm not a great organizer, so and with family obligations in the past, things didn't really line up, but this just rung a chord with me, and I got some encouragement from other people to, just find something to get involved with. So I saw this, I'm like, I can do that. I like to cook, and I just put those two together, and here we are today. I think I've cooked over a dozen meals over the last year and a half, 2 years. And I just really, really enjoy doing it.
Nice. And our neighbors sincerely appreciate it. They so graciously refer to you as the Salmon Man, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
So we have lots of volunteer opportunities here, and you said you love to cook. So is that the main reason why you decided to settle on that opportunity over the others?
Yes, I think, and just time commitments. I work a full-time job still, but I was able to squeeze this. First, I started doing mostly on weekends. And then I kind of transitioned to doing whatever day was kind of available. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, it really rang true. When I retire, I do plan on getting more involved, doing some of the driving around. But at this point, it just doesn't work quite yet, but it will probably by the end of the year. So.
Nice. I know there's some neighbors listening that are waiting for you to retire now that you said that. So, and sometimes volunteers have a difficult time grasping the concept of community dinners because they think I have to cook for 28 people. That's just so daunting and overwhelming. How do you make it work, and what is your go-to dish to make?
So it was a little overwhelming at first, and the cooking part isn't really the challenge. It's thinking of what to cook and getting all the stuff you need to cook. So that was always kind of the challenging part. I have honed my skills in that over the years, so it doesn't take me as long to prepare as it used to. But it's just finding, and when I'm sitting around talking, I like to ask them what they're interested in cooking. Mm-hmm. It's what I do at home. I get tired of picking, so I just ask, what they would like. And as an example, I think I made chicken noodle soup last time, and we were sitting around, and a couple of the residents said they wanted enchiladas again. So that's what we're having this Wednesday is enchiladas. Nice. So things that scale well, and just having the other challenge is space in the kitchen. So I'm looking forward to hopefully when they get the community center here that they do provide a larger area for maybe doing some of the cooking here. because what I end up having to do is cook everything and then try and keep it warm enough while I'm cooking more stuff and then getting it here. But it works out fine. It works out fine. But as far as go-to dishes, you mentioned salmon. That is like one of the easiest ones to do.
They love it so much.
That's my easy dish, so I enjoy doing it. It's just simple. You just have to not overcook or undercook things. So, but it works well, and I'm glad people enjoy it. And that's something people think about cooking.
Right.
And I think that's the other thing is variety. I try to mix it up and just something that's not pre-prepared. I mean, those are fine, but I think just being able to provide something that has a twist or just a little bit more freshness, I think that means a lot to the residents too. So
yeah, and it's nice that it's a home-cooked meal because some of the neighbors may have not had one for a long time.
yes.
So it means the world to them to have a home-cooked meal, even if it wasn't prepared in their home per se.
Yep.
And I like that you mentioned you sit with them and chat with them. So oftentimes people come in and they have misconceptions and maybe some myths or stereotypes about homelessness before they interact with our neighbors. You've been with us for a while now, so is there anything you can think of that has kind of been debunked in your head since meeting with our neighbors?
They are very appreciative of everything that people do for them. I think, unrightly they feel humbled, but I don't think they should. I think they've just had a very hard path, and I'm very, in awe of how they have chosen to kind of take themselves out of that path. And, nobody's perfect, everybody has, issues, and I don't think they should be judged by their past issues. I think, meeting someone on, where they are today is kind of the best way of approaching people. And I try to do that. I'm not the most outgoing person, but boy, some of these residents are so outgoing. And that was something else that was kind of surprising. You always kind of think homeless people want to be left alone and are recluses and don't want to socialize. And there probably are some that I know there's some that I haven't met that are like that here, but a lot of them, I see the same people, when I come almost every time, and it's great to see them. So,
And the longer you're away, the more they have to say to you when you come, I'm sure. Is there anything you'd like to share with potential volunteers who may be listening, who are apprehensive about volunteering with us or just interacting with this population in general?
It's really not, if you feel it's too overwhelming to provide a meal, do it with a friend. You have twice the kitchen space that way. You can split up the task, or you can, do half at one house and half at another. I think that would kind of alleviate it, some of the, anxiety. I think if they feel that people won't appreciate it, or, that, the residents are strange, then that shouldn't be something to worry about, because they're just people. So they're different. Some of them are very different, but they're all happy.
Exactly.
So if you want to be around happy people, you should come here and help out. So
That should be our new slogan or something. That was pretty good. Alrighty. Well, something I'm wanting to do now that I'm hosting the podcast is asking my guests at the very end, what does being a good neighbor mean to them? So, Brent, what does being a good neighbor mean to you?
Not ignoring people. In your own neighborhood, you probably walk down the street and say hi to people as you're going down, and some people don't. Some people just put their heads down. But I think, interacting with your neighbors, looking out for them, making sure, if you see something wrong going at their house, say something. A couple times in my neighborhood, I saw this one time, this guy's garage, there was water coming out of his garage. I had never talked to the guy my entire life, knocked on his door, couldn't find anybody, but I went over and I turned the water off on his house, and I never once talked to the guy. So, but I left a note on his door, and, so just looking out for people that are near you and around you. I think that, I think that's just, and just be nice.
Right. Just be nice.
You know, it's just, that's all you have to do, you know? And yeah, I don't know. I've never really thought about what it takes to be a good neighbor, but I think that would be the key thing, you know? Look out for each other, be nice, be helpful when you can.
Even if you're not going to reap any rewards from it, because your neighbor didn't even know you turned the water off, and you made his whole day without even realizing it.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. You shouldn't do things just to get something back. I think that's one thing here. I mean, is I just cook because I want to, and it makes other people happy. I don't need anything else. I don't want publicity. So, you know, doing this is I want to do to help the village. I'm not doing it to talk about myself. I don't like doing that. So I'd rather just have the focus on the village, and, you know, hopefully it can grow. So, and hopefully they break ground on that patch of weeds over there soon.
I know. It turned into a dirt path, then this is where the community center going, and now it's a bunch of weeds.
I just saw that they're so tall.
But we'll get there when we get there.
Yes.
Well, Brent, thank you so much for taking the time to share your experience and all the ways you pour into our community. And if you're listening and feeling inspired to get involved, we would love to have you at the village. Whether it's serving a meal like Brent or helping out with the other projects we have going on here, there's a place for everyone at Goodness Village, and you can learn more by visiting our website. And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to The Good Pod, share this conversation with your community, and stay tuned for more stories. And remember, being a good neighbor isn't about where you live, it's about how you show up. Thank you for listening to the Goodness Village podcast. Production and recording was done by the Goodness Village operations team with support from Crosswinds Church. Music was provided by Blue Dot Sessions. If you want to know more about Goodness Village, visit us at gvlivermore.org. Thanks again for listening to The Good Pod.